Hi friends, it's Mr. Alex from Adams Memorial Library, and you know the drill, I'm back with another segment of the Online Origami Club. Now this week we're going to make a simple origami swan, and this is a pretty famous origami pattern. Whenever you get a book of different origami folds, this is usually one that you'll find in it. So I figured it'd be a great one to make today. Now, don't forget that you can stop here at the library, either at the front desk or curbside pickup, and get your very own Online Origami Club kit. And in this kit is going to be a variety of different colors and patterns of paper that you can use to make the projects that I'm going to show you. So make sure you have your Online Origami Club kit, as well as a couple of other supplies, and we'll go ahead and get started. Let me show you what you'll need. So origami pros know that there's a couple of things we need for every origami project. We're going to need a practice sheet of paper to get really, really good at making this fold before we make our final project. We're going to need a final sheet of paper from our Origami Club kit, which I have here. We're going to need some scissors to trim our practice paper in case it's not a perfect square. Maybe you're using notebook or construction paper and you need to trim it down. And finally, we have markers, crayons, or something else to decorate with that's going to make our origami project extra special. So go ahead and gather all of your supplies up if you haven't already, and we'll go ahead and get started making our simple swan. Alrighty. So whenever we're making our simple swan, first thing we want to do is take our piece of practice paper that we've turned into a perfect square, and we're going to take the pattern side, or the side that we want to be on the outside of our swan, and we're going to turn it face down just like this. Now that we have this, we are going to take and fold our paper in half along this diagonal here. So we'll take this side over to this side, make sure it matches up perfectly, and give those nice sharp creases that we love to use here in the Online Origami Club. Once we've made that crease, we're going to open our project back up. So we'll just have this line right down the middle of our project. At this point, we're going to take the two bottom edges, so right here, and we're going to fold them into this center line that we just created. So we'll fold one side like this, match it up, make sure it's all lined up, give it a nice sharp crease, and that looks pretty good. Now we just need to repeat on the other side here. Match it up, give it a nice sharp crease, and then we'll have something that looks like a kite. Now, you may have noticed that I was extra careful with the bottom of our project, and this particular point of our project, there's going to be a lot of layers and a lot of folds, and it can be very easy to tear the paper if you're not careful. So you just want to be gentle and take some extra time to make sure that everything lines up before you fold down here at the point. But once we have our kite, we're going to go ahead and turn that over so that it looks like this, and then we're going to set it back down on the table. And at that point, we are going to repeat the process that we just did by taking this edge here and this edge here and folding them into that center line that we created. So we'll make one fold like this, lining everything up and being extra careful with our point at the bottom of our project. Once we're pretty happy with how it's lined up, we'll give it a nice sharp crease, have something that looks like this, and then repeat on the other side. Line it up to the center point, gently fold the point of our project, and crease along the rest of the side. So now we have something that looks like an even smaller kite. Now, at this point, we want to take the bottom of our project, where we've been very careful, and we're going to fold it up to the top. Now, there are a few times where my directions aren't very specific in how far you have to fold. Sometimes I say fold it up a little bit over halfway. But in this case, the instruction is very specific that we do want to fold this point the whole way up to this top point here. So it has to be the whole way up. So we're just going to fold that up. And then once we've got everything all lined up, we can make a nice sharp crease. And we'll have something that looks like this. Now, as you can see, my two sides of my triangle here on the reverse side of my kite, they are pushing apart a little bit. So this might be point in our project where we want to refold or try to get those to meet a little bit closer. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay. And that's not exactly perfect. You can still see some yellow, but because the layers are pulling on each other, they're not going to go the whole way together, but it does look a lot better. So now we are back on this side of the project, and we have folded our point the whole way up to the top. And we have something that looks like this. Now we're going to take and make the head of our swan, and we're going to fold this top point down. And this one is not a specific measurement. So we're just going to fold it down a little bit, however large we would like the head of our swan to be. So I think mine looks pretty good right here. And so I'm just going to fold that down from here down like this. And that'll make the head of the swan. Now we're going to do what's called a mountain fold. And we're going to mountain fold the entire project in half like this. So we're going to take our entire project and essentially just fold it in half. So you can do that and then give a crease all around the project, flattening out all of the different parts of our swan. And it'll be in half and look something like this. So at this point, we're almost there. We're almost done with our swan. Our next step is that we are going to take this part here that sort of swivels, and that's going to be our swan's neck. So we want to angle it up to the angle that we want our swan's neck to be at. I think this looks pretty good here. And then we're going to crease this bottom here to hold it in place. And we'll have something that looks like this. Then we're going to repeat with our swan's head. We're going to move it to the angle that we'd like it to be at. I think right here is pretty good. And then this point here, right at the back of the swan's head, where it meets with the neck, we're going to give that a crease as well to hold it into place. And at this point, we can open up our swan a little bit, and we have an origami swan. And I think it looks pretty great, but it could always look better if we decorate it. So you can go ahead and grab your marker, crayon, or other decorating supplies to make this swan super special. My origami paper doesn't do so well with markers, so I'm going to leave my project as is, but I'll show you what my final and decorated project looks like at the end of the video. So keep practicing, keep folding, and I'm sure you'll be able to make an awesome simple swan. So as always, I practiced, I decorated, and now I made this simple swan out of the paper in my Online Origami Club kit. And I think it turned out pretty great. Now, don't forget that I would love to see your simple swans by sending pictures on over to kids@adamslib.org, and you can definitely follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube to get all sorts of different updates, not only about the Online Origami Club, but also the other great programs that we're doing here at the library. And as always, happy crafting!